I want to talk really quickly to anyone who either creates videos on this platform or anyone who watches videos on this platform. So, all of you. I think it's important, especially right now, for us to spend a sec considering the persistence of art. It sounds like a huge philosophical issue, and it is, but it's also more timely now than it has been in the recent past. There are different ways to evaluate art, and they have different bearing on how we think about the importance of persistence in that art. There are some people who feel the value of the art exists whether or not the art is fleeting. In fact, some art gains value from the fact that it's fleeting, since that's exactly what the art is commenting on. Think sand sculptures made by Zen monks who erase their art as a meditative exercise to remind themselves that life, like their art, is also fleeting. Stage actors and dancers and comedians embody this too. Their art exists in the moment, and a video of it is a pale reflection. That's a legitimate way to look at all art. Maybe it doesn't need to last to be beautiful, and maybe it's more beautiful if it doesn't last. And then there are kinds of art, like tattoos, stone sculptures, where the persistence is the point. They are an expression of permanence, or a desire to create something that will last beyond death. Clearly, in art, persistence does matter to some people. There's a school of thought that the art has a relationship to the artist, and here we might want to start considering its persistence as part of its value. If the art is important because it changes you, the artist, then you might want that painting or novel or sculpture to last, so you can look at it in the future and say, that's who I was at that time. Or maybe the art's value comes from its interpretation by a person who reads and interprets that art. In the most capitalistic sense, we measure the value of art by a simple supply and demand curve. If people feel the art is important to them, they give you money as a measure of that importance. And if the art is scarce and the demand is high, that's lots of money. And if the art is plentiful and the demand is low, the money measures that too. In an attention economy, the art is plentiful, but people pay for it with something priceless, their time. And then a platform like this one converts that expression of value into money, because the platform wants their time too. But we don't have to be so venal to see that persistence can have value outside of money. Even if only one person is moved by your art, it makes them laugh, or cry, or pee their pants in terror. It teaches them something that changes the way they behave in the world, or the way they see other people. Then even though that one person doesn't create monetary demand, the impact on them is important. And that person, like the artist, may want to come back to the art later and say, this made me who I am, just like it did the artist. So here's what I want you to think about. Let's say you spend your life making or collecting some kind of art, like paintings that you keep in one house, and then the house burns down. Imagine how you would feel. Because if you are writing or buying ebooks, creating or consuming your music through a music service, creating images you post to an app or viewing those on an app, or creating or watching videos on this app, you are putting those things into one room of one very flammable house you do not own. And then, when you go to look back on your life's work, the company you've given those to simply may not be there. Or, and this is why this is particularly timely, that company may decide to serve people who believe your art should go away. Now, one of the schools of thought would say, fine, you participated in a meditative activity that helped you learn about impermanence. Nothing lasts forever. But the other three schools of thought would say, shit. I can't reflect on that art later as its creator because it's gone. I can't sell that art later as an artist or purchase that art later as a consumer because it's gone. I can't revisit that art later as an appreciator of the art because it's gone. If the persistence of your art is important to you, I just want to remind you, artists and consumers of art, that it's important you own your art. Buy physical books. Which has lasted longer, your physical books or the Rocket e-reader? Never heard of the Rocket e-reader? Exactly. buy your music to download to a place you own, or get it in some physical media format that can't be deleted remotely. Which has lasted longer, vinyl or Napster? If you like work by a visual artist, buy a print of the painting, or buy the painting itself. If you make videos on this app, save your work elsewhere so you can re-upload it if this app goes away. Maybe the persistence of art is not objectively, cosmically important. But if your work is subjectively important to you, maybe don't leave all that work in the hands of oligarchs who don't share your interests or values. Just saying.